Matt? Can you hear me, Matt?
Hey there, everyone. Tonight, we are going to be talking about some foolishness. Like, how do you go to prison for armed robbery with no weapon? Not petty theft or anything like that. Like prison, life, no possibility of parole, and there is no weapon, and your charge is armed robbery. So tonight we are going to be talking to Mr. Kevin Upkins. Kevin reached out to me over a year ago, and he's been reaching out to anyone that seems to have any kind of following on social media to be able to share his message that he spreads through his music. Actually, he has a song with Zaytoven, who he's a Grammy Award winner, and he's been just doing whatever he can to expand his network just to share his story. So right now, before we bring Kevin in, I'm going to just show you a little slideshow that I created to tell you a little more about who he is and to give you some context before we get to the content. So what justice looks like for us. The case of Kevin Upkins, life with no parole charge, armed robbery with no gun. Now, I know I'm bipolar and I take medication, but that is insane to be spending life with no parole and no gun over an armed robbery charge. So, how many years? We're going to go ahead and bring him in so we can ask some of these questions. Let's see. Hey there, Kevin. Can you hear me?
Hey, hello, Matt. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, you are more than welcome. You are more than welcome. So I'm going to cut back to the slideshow that I have, okay? And I have some straightforward questions for you. And then I want you to share your story. And at some point, I'm going to play your documentary. That's about 10 minutes long. We'll leave out with that, okay?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. So how many years have you been in?
A little over 13. December 1st, made 13. December 1st, that just passed, made 13 years.
So 13 years, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Was there an indictment? Like, tell us about this indictment.
Like, as far as the indictment, the United States Constitution, it starts out, informing us, where the power come from in the beginning of it. It says, we the people. So, in it starting out in that statement, that indicates this is where the power come from. It's a combine of people in the United States. We agree to the guidelines, that the forefathers came with. And inside that, in the Constitution, it speaks on jurisdiction, about having people of our peers, around our communities, to be the judges over us, in a trial or whatnot. And so what happens is they'll choose, a certain amount of people for a grand jury selection in that jurisdiction wherever the crime was committed.
Let's
And
pause
then
for a minute. Wait. You taking it all over all of our heads. Let's pause for a minute because we're gonna get there, right? We're gonna go there.
yes,
Before we even go there, let's keep it all the way simple because this case is ludicrous, right? So in keeping it all the way simple, what date were you indicted on?
yeah, man. Well, with my case particularly, you know, like no grand jury had an opportunity of hearing my case. And like
Okay.
what take place is they'll present evidence to the grand jury, and then they'll decide on whether there's enough evidence to prosecute a person or not. That's the only purpose of that phase. And the only people listed as witnesses, in my grand jury, were on my indictment was the lady inside the finance business and the actual detective. Neither
We
one
haven't
of
even
these
gone.
two people could.
Wait. So we're creating the conversation for everyone because you're sharing it like everyone knows your case. I'm asking some questions like the fact, it's a loaded question. I'm trying to gear you up for the fact that they served you papers and then they filed the indictment charges 7 days later. That's what I'm talking about. Just something that's just a simple, basic, violation all the way. Like, how can you
Oh,
serve him papers how can you file the papers 7 days later after picking this man up off the streets? Like, we haven't even gotten into the case yet of how it took, wasn't it 7 months before you were even arrested?
see, like I mean, man, it's kind of hard. I can hear you, but
You
it got
can.
like an echo to it. I can
Uh-oh.
hear you, but behind your words, you'll hear like a little echo.
Can you hear me better now? I call
Yes, I
myself
can hear you
switching
a little bit
ears.
better now. I can hear you a little bit better though, but
This
for
is my
real though,
good ear,
whatever
this is
you
my
did.
good eye. I switch ears. This is my good ear and my
Okay,
good
now
eye.
what
So
you asking
this
me?
eye might go lazy and this ear might go back. Never mind. I said, how many
See, I can hear
days?
you. I can hear you perfect now.
How many days? So today is February 23rd. So correct me if I'm wrong. I know there's not 30 days in February, but hypothetically speaking. So today is February 23rd. They arrested you. They said they were indicting you. And then you looked at the papers, and 7 days later, that's when the indictment papers, or at least that's when they actually were filed, correct?
Oh,
Or
it
am
was
I wrong?
14 days. It was 14
14
days.
days.
Like on
Okay,
the
so
day of the yeah, on the day of the incident, which was May 2nd, 2008. They dispatch received a call that security finance off of Fairman Road in Douglasville, Georgia, had been robbed. So when the detective showed up to the scene, well, first, you got the 911 call. Miss Tammy James, indicated that, she had been robbed by two black males wearing t-shirts. In reference to description, that's all that she gave the 911 dispatcher. Now, the dispatcher, pursued, trying to get any other kind of extra description. But, Miss James went on by saying, I don't know, just please send help. So when they did get there, the detectives canvassed the scene and they located checks on the ground, money orders and personal checks and $100 bill. Now they had also received evidence like the door handle to the bill, the money trays, the money drawers, that held the checks and money to that bill. Then they couldn't get any conclusive results, prints or anything, so they did not enter it into evidence. Only thing that they had was the check, the money order, and the $100 bill. Now, we all have seen CSI before. When CSI come on the scene, they gather the evidence and preserve it for future testing because they want to test it in the manner that they received it from the scene. It holds integrity like that. So, but in my case, the detective held the items in his possession for 14 days. May 2nd was the day that the alleged incident occurred, but May 16th was when the evidence came back, on surface because of the evidence processor and the sheriff department, received it on May 16th. That was his statement alleged. And there is no property sheet, no proof of a chain of evidence, and then the breakage within the chain of custody was actually broken with those checks. Because, once the evidence processor had processed the check, you know, they have someone APIS qualified to run prints. So if you've been in the system before and they run it through APIS, then they're going to check to see if your prints is in their system. My prints are in the system. So if you would have ran those prints, gave them to your evidence processor, and if my print were there, they would have, instantly, yeah, these belong to him, and it could have been. But they waited after the evidence processor processed the check. They waited from the month of May, to October 10th to take these checks, which are now in a sealed envelope after the processor, received. So they waited till October 21st to turn the checks in to the lockbox in GBI. But what GBI doesn't know is that a month and a half prior to them receiving the check, someone had went inside the check and did something with them. Now they have 3 dates listed on this envelope that indicates when an expert or whoever went inside the checks broke the evidence seal to examine or do whatever they did. And the purpose of their name and date is so we can call that person for trial, to cross-examine, to investigate, things of that matter. But I can't call the person who went inside the envelope to deal with these checks before they were identified and before GBI received them. Because on September 9th, someone had went inside the envelope holding these checks. And then on October 21st, they turned it in to GBI.
Okay, hold on.
And you understand what I'm saying, Millet?
I do. And hold on, I'm gonna cut to something else real quick. So I asked how many years you've been in. Education is the one thing they cannot take from you. So I'm really proud of you that you're able to cite all that you've cited. And that's because you got this paralegal certification while you were actually incarcerated, which has been helping you to fight your case. And then I just put a little blurb here about hope. Oh, let me go back. Hope, justice, an animal. My experience in being incarcerated. Where'd he go? Kevin, you better come on back. So my experience in being incarcerated is, do the bars turn you into an animal in the name of justice? Like, it's like it takes something to maintain hope. And it takes something to maintain hope. So when do you give up? Do you give up? You can't give up. Like, what's your option? He going in and out. Come on, Kevin, stay with me. And then justice. Is it even possible at this point? Like, how do you get justice when you've been sitting in a prison for 13 years? Y'all, I'm registering as a lobbyist this year because when we have brown and black people who go to prison for 13 years innocently, they get released from prison with no compensation right now as the law is written. So we got to rewrite these laws so that when this man gets free, he's able to build him a life. An animal. Do these bars turn you into an animal in the name of justice? They locking up our brown and black men for no reason, and women. I've been incarcerated for no reason other than the color of our skin. So I brought up hope, justice, and what's real. What's real are these statistics and these numbers and the alarming number of brown and black people who are sitting incarcerated. I'm sure if Kevin took his camera and showed everybody in there, most of them look like us.
Exactly.
So this is something, I'm just going to read this. When Kevin was sending me pictures and information on his case, He said, what's important to me on this forensic report is the date. The expert Albert Rowland was assigned to the case, and he concluded, and the date he concluded his report. Fingerprint evidence, this is what he was just talking about. 3 checks. I can't make this go away. Let me see. Hold on. Let me blow this up. All right. Fingerprint evidence, 3 checks, a money order, and a $100 bill was dropped during the course of the robbery, and allegedly my print was found on a check. No chain of evidence, property, inventory, and a breakage within the chain of custody are the issues. And I haven't had an expert to independently examine the evidence. Every time I would how an expert something would happen where he was taken from me after paying him, and another kept my money instead of buying an expert. I'm not angry about GBI exams because they're not aware of what the evidence went through prior to their report. The checks made it to the GBI in 10/21/08 lockbox, but on 9/9/08, before the detective took evidence to the GBI, someone went inside the envelope to handle the evidence, but didn't sign their name. So who goes into this in here and like they remove the evidence? Like if you go to a bank and you go to a lockbox, there's a chain of custody with something as simple as a bank. So how do you go into a police department and remove evidence without there being a chain of custody? There's supposed to be someone who sits up front. We've all seen Law and Order before. There's someone who sits up front and works inside of the property and evidence room, and they sign off on it. Anytime you've been incarcerated, when they take all of your stuff, you sit in that room. When it's time to get released, they give you the little envelope or they give you the little plastic holder and they shoot you your stuff. So how is it that there is no chain of custody? So that's what Mr. Upkins is asking for. The detective testified the GBI expert told him that the print belonged to me on 11/7/08 via phone. But again, the expert wasn't assigned to the case kickbox until 11/12. That's November 7th. And I'm not a rocket scientist, but 12 minus 7 is about 5 days. Kevin, is that about right?
Yes, ma'am.
That 5 days will get me a pass into middle school, maybe? So how? And how that you have 3 checks, meaning 3 owners. 2 checks were delivered by a second party, and the tellers at the bank all touched those items. How come his print is the only one there? So this checkbook, these checks have gone through multiple hands. People don't even realize cash changes hands. One $20 bill may change hands 6 to 8 times. That's the whole rotation of currency. So these checks have changed hands a minimum of 3 times. And he's the only one whose fingerprints have been found on these checks. And how come his print is the only one there? The chemical, oh Lord, you know I can't pronounce this. Non-hydrin is sprayed on the checks to react with the sweat and acid from your hand. So the temperature plays a significant role, but the checks were missing from the day of the scene, May 2nd to May 16th. Come on, Kevin, help me out. 16 minus 2, how many days?
16 minus 2.
Yeah.
That's 14. That's 14.
That's a whole 2 weeks. Before they were turned in to be processed. Where was the evidence for 14 days? You know how much can happen in 14 days? If you were there on a petty theft charge, you could have went to court, you could have went before the judge, and you could be sitting your black behind at home in 14 days.
See, like,
how
like,
it's hold on, let me finish reading this, then we're gonna come right back to you. How was it preserved and packaged? Because what the detective claimed to package it in wasn't available for the trial to cross-exam. So, can you share what this is?
Now, this document here, this is the forensic report. When you look at the left and the right side of it, you'll see small writing. That's what I had. That's why I had intervened at. Now, on the right and on the left, it's small, but if you look, you will see November 12th, 2008. That was the day that the GBI received Albert Rowland as an expert in this case. So when he became assigned to the case, his duty was to go pull everything that was inside that lockbox. So everything had transpired until all that occurred prior to him, going to the lockbox. It, like again, the evidence landed at GBI lockbox on October 21st by the detective who was leading in this case.
Oh, wait.
No,
We forgot the whole everything. Where's the district attorney at?
Exactly.
Currently? Where's he at? Tell the people. Not me. Don't talk to me. We done had this conversation. I was on my way for sushi last night, and we had this where is the district attorney at? What happened to him?
You bet echoing a little bit.
I said, where's the DA at? He indicted.
Where's the D? You asked me where the DA?
Yeah. Didn't he go to prison?
Like you echoing, it's it just went back crazy again.
I said, didn't he go to prison? The DA in your case.
Oh, now the detective who was leading in my case, who was conducting the investigation, he was the one who transported the checks to GBI. Another thing too, right? See, on the law, when you speak in reference to chain of custody, you basically preserving the evidence. So any kind of and that's the purpose of taking it through the process, just to show you that they receive the evidence from the scene with nothing happened to this evidence after the incident.
He went out, y'all, for a minute. So on this note, I'm gonna do a share screen and pull up his documentary so everybody can see it in case you haven't seen it. Kevin, hold on. I'm gonna share your documentary and we're gonna come back. Y'all, I have a runny nose. That's it. I don't toot my nose up. Hold on, Kevin. We're gonna show the documentary.
All right. Oh, okay. Oh, so you can hear good. Okay.
They can hear.
Somebody just told me you were asking about the DA. See, I didn't know. I thought you were talking about the detective. Oh, now the DA. What his name?
In prison. Hold on.
The DA.
Hold on. Let me see if I can pull up this documentary real quick. I might not be able to.
Oh yeah, see that DA, he's oh my goodness, he'll talk about himself. David McDade. Yeah.
Oh wait, there we go.
David McDade, Douglas County, federal. That's the top.
Oh wait, can y'all see? Can y'all see his? Can you see the documentary?
Yeah.
Is that all that y'all can see?
Yeah, that's the documentary. That's on YouTube. Like if you go to YouTube under my name and scroll, you'll see that as one of the videos.
We only gonna show a little bit of it, and then I'm gonna come back to you. I'll let you consult with your comrades, the other folks that need to get free, that's sitting incarcerated for no reason at all, probably.
Robert, I'm gonna need your help, Robert. Everybody say they here.
They can see it. Douglasville, Georgia takes lead over many states with the United States.
Like the David McDade, he had a lot going on. The way he was running his office, Like they had something going on where they were taking trips out of town at the expense of the
Hold on, let me see. Let me stop this chair. They couldn't hear it. That's all right, Javante. We'll make sure that you get a link to it. Kevin went out on us again. Hold on. Oh, Kevin, come on back in.
I can hear you a little bit clearer now.
Okay. What's your documentary called?
Like
Just YouTube.
David Day, you know, he was the district attorney in Douglasville, Georgia around that time. You know, my case was out there, and he had a lot of going on. He had, you know, multiple federal charges against him. And it ended with him, you know, accepting the plea, you know, resigning from office. And then Jeff Gore is the actual DA who prosecuted my case. You know, he's not even in Douglasville no more. You know, I think he's in Cobb County.
Who is this Dana Lynn? What is she talking about? It's the area in your services off. What is she talking about? Dana, what you talking about, girl? Text, be clearer. Speak clearer what you're asking. But we have Ferrante Frazier Gregory speaking. All right. He said, who are your accusers?
Frazier was asking who the accuser is too. Like Tammy James, she's the lady who was the supervisor at this business. It was off of Fair, you know, pushing out towards Douglasville, Georgia. And it's a security finance business. It's set in a plaza where other stores is. I remember them talking about a barber shop and a grocery store. So this financial business sit inside a plaza with other stores. How is there no video footage? You know, because, you know, they charging you on robbery. And, you know, one of the elements of armed robbery is possession of firearms. But there is no firearm in evidence. Not even a banana. You know, so
hold on. So wait. So if there's no possession of a firearm, what would the charge be? You've studied this. If there wasn't a firearm, what were some of the other options of charge? Like, what could they have charged you with?
You got options of like regular robbery, strong arm robbery, you know, things of that nature. But here's the thing: you got to first identify the suspect.
Wait.
You know, you just don't find nobody in charge.
Hold on, Kevin. Just hold on, because I know you innocent, right? So inside of these other charges that they could have charged you with, what is the sentence time? Would you be serving life?
I know. I'm not, you know, exactly sure, but I know it's under 10 years.
Most of them are misdemeanors.
You know, but like, you know, she did the thing on me, man. Okay, Miss Tammy James, she was a victim inside the bed. You know, her story in her statement was 2 guys came in and robbed her at gunpoint. 2 black males wearing white t-shirts. When the dispatcher pushed for more information, you know, she couldn't tell them, but you hearing the tape, you could tell she was, you know, scared. So they told her, you know, that help is on the way. You know, asked her if they were going. She said, yeah. She said, you know, they pushed for more information as far as description. And she said she couldn't give it to them. So once the detective got there, they canvassed the scene. Allegedly, you know, they, you know, got these checks, you know, that was dropped on the ground by the perpetrators. Again, you know, the door handler, the money trays, that he'll, you know, entering the store, holding the checks, holding the money. No prints came from any of these. Are stationary items inside this bid. So they didn't bring it into everything. But these checks, you have the actual owners of the checks. Appreciate you too, Alicia. But you have the owners of these checks. You have the agents, you know, like a daughter, you know, a husband, who receive the checks from the owner to go inside the business to pay, and then you have the teller inside who receiving the check. No other print is identifiable on no check is what they alleged. And it was a handprint or like a palm print that was not identified, period. And then they came up with a story like, okay, my checks showed up. But here's the issue with it. You know, again, if this incident took place May 2nd, like they said, then, you know, they passed that bogus examining that they did. Once those checks were examined by the evidence process of May 27th, he then turned it over to what the lady name was Miss Gaines. She was APIS qualified in Douglasville Sheriff Department at that time. She was helping surrounding counties with their fingerprint issue. So that means if you helping surrounding counties, you know, your work is done. But for some reason, they bypassed her and wait nearly 7 months to send it to GBI. But before they get to GBI, a month before they get to GBI, someone had went inside the envelope. And I can't call that person to the stand and ask them what their examination was, what type of dealings did they have with the evidence, because I don't know their name. Only the date is there. So by breaking these two issues down involving these checks, the integrity is just not there. You know, so when it got to my appeal, going to trial, my trial attorney, her name is Jennifer Knight. She waited till the day before trial to try to, go see the evidence with the expert that I hired. I paid the expert $500 the first time going to trial. A day before trial, on the evening before trial, she went to the DA office with my expert. Did not try to get no protective remedies to keep my expert private, get him a setting to where he can be, at his best without any interruptions. So without those protective guards, the district attorney, get the evidence for them, but within minutes later, interrupts their consultation and examining and serve my expert with a subpoena, taking my expert away from me. So when I go to trial, I don't even have an expert. I'm presenting no scientific evidence, and it's obvious that my trial attorney was not even submitted any kind of questions to attack scientific evidence. Like
so wait. 1 minute, Kevin. Do you see Ferrante Frazier's question? Does your case say state of Georgia versus you or Terry versus you?
Oh, it's Upkins. It's Upkins. It's state versus Upkins.
So state of Georgia versus Upkins. And I just have a quick question because this is Douglas County as well. And on your documentary, you said you were performing at Club Crucial, your music, and you'd never been in Douglas County.
I never been to Douglasville a day in my life.
So where'd they get that? I mean, I'm on your side with this one. So where did they, one, can you please tell everyone, because everyone's not familiar with your case, how long did it take for them to arrest you after the initial claim was made? All right, where you at? You buffering. I might have to question, ask, and answer that one. If I'm not mistaken, it took them 7 months. Oh, there he is. Hold on.
Yeah.
Where you going at?
Like you had kicked me out.
Okay.
Well,
you forgiven. I already told you when you get out, y'all got me up until midnight and 1 o'clock in the morning. You owe me some raw sushi. So come on now, hang in there with me. So how long did it take for them?
My name came up in the incident because of a guy named Anthony Cox. I hadn't met Anthony in DeKalb County. I always start out, when I get into this part, I always let everybody know that, I'm a product of my environment. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm off of Bankhead Highway. on it, for mango surfing. Now, when you're in an environment like that, we don't know what our rights consist of. We hear things, we'll see things on TV, but this is just something that a lot of people not intrigued in learning. So when we come under these situations, even though we like to think we know something, we lack a lot of information. So we rely on these attorneys, and we don't even know the right questions to even ask these attorneys. But the way my name came up in this incident, I was locked up in DeKalb County for a drug offense. And while I was down, I had to serve 7 years. But while I was down during that time, I'm thinking to myself like, okay, this ain't the lifestyle that I want. It got to be something better than this. True indeed, you like what's going on when it's going on, but the downside, takes you out the river. So at the time, you had people like Unjust, Young Dro. It's another group in Atlanta, Shop Boy. These people I went to school with, kicked it with, or hung with, spent the night at their house. The list go on because I'm around the west side of Atlanta. But when I'm seeing all this on TV, so I'm like, okay, if they can do it, I can do it. So I started blueprinting, for a career. And and Anthony Cox was good with music. So I told him when we take down, do what I'm gonna do. In this situation, a lot of people don't stick to what they say, so I can understand him being reserved on that tip. But when I did get out, I did bump into him, and instantly, I went in. My first show I did was at TI Club off of Bankhead's called Club Crucial, and I won. A lot of people were pushing up on me. It was happening overnight. But that guy, Anthony Cox, he had a lot going on. When I get ready to go do a show in Athens or go to College Park to do a show, it was his energy. I'm taking us to go to the mall one day. He in his steely clothes and got these people calling my name over the intercom. I paid the money to keep them from taking him to jail. And then I'm so angry, I ain't even take the clothes with me. But after that incident, I couldn't.
All right, Kevin went out again. He's going to be coming back. He's calling us directly from prison, y'all. So this isn't someone who's pretending like they know what the life of incarceration is. This is someone who is living it. This is someone who's wrongfully incarcerated, who's been wrongfully incarcerated for over 13 years now. So if he cuts out again, just bear with us. You see the headphones, you see this is what prison looks like. This is what jail looks like. This is what institutions look like. And so all of y'all freaking out over COVID, being in 2 and 3 and 4 and 10,000 square feet homes, imagine being in a 10,000 square foot area with 40 other people. If you got 10,000 square feet, you might have less than that. So anywho, that was my sidebar, Kevin. But one other point that I want to mention earlier when you were talking about the forensics, a lot of people don't realize that the forensic laboratory is also a part of the district, like it's connected to the police department. I once did when I was in college, I did this research on ending the death penalty, and I researched over like 100 sources, and there were different cases where the forensic technician, or whatever their title is, where they tampered with evidence. So there was like this one, I think it was in like DC or Baltimore, but she tampered with like over 3,000 pieces of forensic evidence, and they had to throw out all of those cases. So just remember, the forensic department is a part of the police department. So whoever tampered with it, evidence tampering is evidence tampering. So we just got to find you a lawyer and keep advocating for you a lawyer. But I just want to make sure that you see Mr. Frazier's comments to you. One of them is, can you see it?
So the state, the accused of the state can for. Well, like on
Hold
that
on,
case,
here's more. There's
like,
more. There's more, Kevin.
like
I'm slowly putting them in one at a time. Demand your accuser appear. He also said you have a right to face your accuser. Make sure the state take the stand and swear under oath.
see, it was like that's a business. Like when you dealing with when you dealing with a business, you know the state will pick up because they feel like they got enough evidence to prosecute the case. And what the and the victim that was inside that business, which is Tammy James, she did testify. She got on the stand. But let me tell y'all about Miss James though. Okay, y'all heard that she said she couldn't give any description, any more description. Okay, you had two witnesses that was outside.
Kevin. I know you're excited. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Slow it down for us. When did Tammy James accuse you?
Like when she started calling my name. Well, no, she never accused me. The detective went to her business approximately 2 years, approximately 2 years after the end. He questioned her. Did Kevin Oakes used to work here? On Fingerprint led us to him. He's a suspect in this case. So he put in all this information in her head. These 3 months prior to trial. I stayed in the county almost 2 years waiting to go to trial. So 3 months prior to trial, he go to the beach.
Slow it down. You're getting excited. I know you're getting frustrated. I know you're getting angry. I know it's a lot of emotions. 2 years you sat in jail, right? 2 years.
Yeah, man.
Before even going to prison. 2 years. And then 3 months before trial, that's when they went to Tammy again. Yes?
Exactly. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now finish it off for us. Just take it to us, give it to us in bites so that everybody can really process how much they violated your rights.
All right. So when I stayed in the county for approximately 2 years, before going to trial. In November, the detective, November, December, yeah, because trial started
Don't worry, y'all. He coming back. Curtis Reese said, there are so many Kevin Hopkins in the Georgia Department of Corrections right now. Young black men serving life sentences on armed robberies and convicted at trial with very little evidence. Also on marijuana charges. That's the other one, drugs.
Yeah, it seemed like it'd give me a few minutes and kick me out. But back to what I was saying, okay, trial started this January 27th on 2010. But November 2009, the detective had went to the business to speak to Tammy James, telling her, well, first he asking her, have Kevin Hopkins ever worked for you? He giving her my name. Then he telling her that I'm the suspect, Fingerprint led to me. And at that time when he's telling her this, two other witnesses were outside the business, allegedly doing the robbery. And the detective supposedly had got 2 statements from each of these witnesses. To this day, I don't even know if these people exist or really are people. I've been looking for them, because their information is in your discovery. So I done wrote letters. I done try to have a person to find these people. But here's the kicker though.
Hold on.
These 2 witnesses.
Hold on. Don't you have the right to confront your accuser? So is
Exactly.
Tammy your only accuser, or were those other 2 victims, they're accusers too, right?
It's they didn't mention my name. They just gave a description as to what the guys had on as far as like clothes and height, hat and hair. Now, Tammy James didn't give any of that in her statement. She didn't give any of that in the 911 call is what I'm saying. But on the day of trial, 2 years later, it was like she had reviewed those two statements from those witnesses and incorporated what they said into her own testimony. And then my attorneys never even, questioned her about, she didn't say this in the beginning. You know what I mean? It was never any cross-examination on. You got to be mindful. I'm over here sitting over here scared as hell. All these, white folks around and they doing this to me already. I already don't know how to, what proper questions to ask. So,
right.
So basically you got two people, who haven't been identified yet. They didn't testify in trial. They had this so on point description about what people had on, how long their hair was, but they did not testify. And Tammy James, the one who was inside the bank, she adopted what they wrote in their statement and gave that statement as if it was her own. And you can't do that. And I'm questioning my lawyer about this, but there's no defense being addressed to it. And I'm the only black man sitting in the courtroom at the time when she got on the stand. When you like, who was the person that robbed you? I'm the only black man in the courtroom at the time sitting at the defense table. And she pointed at me and said him. But in the beginning, she turned down a photographic lineup saying that she would not be able to ID the people if she saw them in the future. That was around the time of the robbery.
How long? You said that was at the time of the robbery. She turned down the photographic lineup because she said she wouldn't be able to identify them in May. And you went to court in November?
In May. It's in the transcript.
I know, but I have the transcripts. Kevin, I have the transcripts, but the people watching don't. So when did you go to court?
Like I had got arrested December 1st, 2008.
So
I
in
went
May
to trial. Yeah, the incident happened May 2nd, 2008. I was arrested December 1st, 2008.
Right. So in May, she said, Kevin's coming back in. In May, she said she couldn't identify anyone in the lineup. So she didn't want to do a lineup. But then she turned around and right before going to trial, she identified Kevin Upkins. What are you doing? What you eating? You're on camera. If I can't eat on camera, what?
I think
smile, Kevin. You think what?
I think it's the service why I keep cutting me out. I ain't sure.
Yeah, and thank you. You know, like, I laugh. You know I laugh, but this isn't a laughing situation. This is a real situation. And I'm sorry that you're spending 13 years of your life there.
Yeah, like, and it's so much though, man, Matt, that was overlooked and wasn't addressed. But like where I'm at right now, it's like this. And, years ago, I'm talking about almost a decade ago, I was active, doing rallies, doing marches. Senator James, Chantaye James, she was standing alongside, me, on the state capitol when, my baby mom spoke to her constituents. At the time, I had the energy, to create those rallies and whatnot. You say 10 minutes.
That's fine.
Now I had the energy, to crank up the old rallies. I had people tallying around with me. But when I would build up to those moments for my attorney to, deliver, that's what would cause me, a bad, reflex, because, these people, they taking along with me and they see I'm being denied in the hearing. They see I lose trial. They see I get denied appeal. So they thinking, oh, he got to be, He got to be guilty. The courts keep doing this, but the issue was the attorney did not address the right issue. Like the issues I was telling y'all about with the check. Had a motion to suppress being filed by my attorney. And then they elaborate on the reason why they not to allow these checks into the trial. The judge would have ruled in my favor, in reference to the in-court identification when Tammy James sat in front of the jurors, it was the all-white jury, 11 white and 1 black. The Tammy James sat in front of these people and pointed me out. That's crucial. These folks seeing the lady who claimed to be robbed pointing at me, but they not aware of all these discrepancies, throughout the case because it wasn't being challenged. Now my attorney might speak on integrity, but she didn't act as far as filing any motion.
Right.
To get everything. So the difference between now and back then when I was doing things, okay, I'm rallying up these points to, because we're gonna get ready to do a rally in a couple months on the state, on the state capitol in Atlanta. But like these rallying, these marching that we're doing now, it's not being conducted and not having the substance to it now. Now where I'm at as far as on the legal issue, because I'm past all that post-conviction stuff. Like I've been down 13 years.
Hold on, do you see what Samuel Jones
Georgia,
said?
Don't forget one of the attorneys got this far, man. Is that yeah, Mr. Jones, I'm glad he pulled up and said that. Because my trial attorney, she had got this ball. She got this ball, and for Xanax, she got pulled over. They put home probation, and she violated the probation and everything. And then so that's my attorney now, who I had during the time, David McDade, one of the most corrupt district attorneys in the United States. And he was under investigation with his federal probe. And then eventually pled guilty and resigned. That's what I was up on. That's who I had represented. Now, as far as my appeal attorney, Kenneth Muhammad, he just ran out with $70,000 of that rapper Boosie. Lil Boosie, he ran out with $70,000 of his money. I had them paid Kenneth Muhammad an extra $1,100 on top of what I paid him to represent me, just to hire an expert. Because I'm at my appeal phase when I'm asking him this. He made it seem like he hired an expert. So when I had a habeas corpus hearing, which you didn't expect, I put him on the stand and questioned him. So I got that in the transcript. He don't know the expert name. He didn't know his number. He didn't inform me of a forensic report that he had done. But he testified that the prints came back. But he never, I never had the opportunity of speaking to the person, never even seen a forensic report that he claimed that he had a nick. So he basically pocketed my money and just lied like he hired an expert. So until this day, 13 years later, independent examination on these items have not been done.
Yeah.
And that's what they got me in on this witness testimony on those checks. There's no weapon, there's no money. They and where does the video footage go, man? This is a security finance business dealing with money. It's sitting in a plaza with a grocery store, and I think they had something like a Honda where they sell four-wheelers. This is an area where a lot of cameras at. How you don't have any cameras? And my name got involved in this incident because of Anthony Carr, Powder County. He sent them at me saying that I was involved in the carjacking. They ruled me out as a suspect in the incident after they investigated. The second incident he sent at me on Fulton County, telling them I had cocaine, guns, and all kind of stuff. Long story short, that case was dismissed against me. The third incident he involved me in was with Douglasville, Georgia, the case I'm on right now, and you see the lack of integrity and the lack of investigation that was done here. They basically rushed this case.
Kevin will be joining us. I get it. Melissa, thank you. Justice will prevail. Keep the faith. Innocent people always get caught up in the system. Just know God watches everything. Give us free gorilla killer. Hold on, Kevin. Let me bring you back in. I see you moving your mouth. You weren't in here with us. Come on now. We got 5 minutes.
Like, if you like, I say the most important thing that I would want anybody to be aware of is the facts don't change. I'm putting myself on Front Street to be scrutinized. I don't care about going into a hostile environment. I don't care about no kind of questioning because the facts don't change. I can prove my innocence, you know. And you know the real issues right here that I see using to get into court is because when you're dealing with an offense like a 7 deadly sin, you have a right to a grand jury indictment. I did not waive my right to a grand jury indictment. If you look at those documents I sent you, the indictment, it does not have an office seal from the court clerk's office. You know that like the saying what court, the date and the time, and saying file. See, when the seal is placed on a legal document and then it's placed on a legal record, then it creates the statute for both parties to be governed by. But in this case, there's the indictment not even proper. And I can prove that the grand jury did not return an indictment in this case. Because if they did, it would be in a court clerk record. That is the only evidence that could be used. Evidence on the face of the record. And they don't have the minutes showing the return of a true bill. So a grand jury did not, and because of that, along with the other issues, me being charged with armed robbery, there are 3 elements to armed robbery.
Hold on. Wait. We got under 3 minutes. How can I know you have more? I know you have more. How can people support you? Like, what can people do to support you? What does that look like?
Like at this point, I'm trying to get an attorney. You know, I had people who say they, trying to do a pro bono, but I got over 10,000 already set, saved up. And they're gonna take 15,000 just to get the attorney started. He asked for another 15 on the payment plan, and I ain't even tripping it because I believe once we get something going, everybody see what's going on, then they'll understand.
Heck no, somebody told me, let them attorneys work for you. This will make a lot of their careers. Let them work for you. You give them that $10,000 and they get lazy. Let them work for you. I went to school. I was going to be a criminal defense attorney. And then I changed my degree to journalism. Thank God I'm using these student loans. So I say all that to say we got 1 minute.
I'm really down with that.
How can we support your music?
I'm still learning. Like, just go to my I got a SoundCloud page. It's up on the Kevin Upkins also. But I'm still learning about all this streaming and stuff like that. Facebook, my name Kevin Upkins, and on Instagram it's Mango Boy _KK. And it's MANGOBOY _KAY. That's Instagram.
All right, we have under a minute. Thank you for being my guest. Thank you for everybody tuning in, logging in, signing in from prison. I appreciate you. Hang out a minute. We always have a show after the show. You've met me after the show, so you know that I I grew up in Savannah, so my Valley Space Cadet goes out the window and my Geechee come out, and then the Detroit side of me come out sometimes too. So thank you for being my guest. I just want to get this lawyer. That's it. We got to find you a lawyer. You welcome. Hang out, Kevin. I appreciate you, man. All right.
Yeah, man.
Like this.